Mastermind Principles. All right, welcome to chapter 8 of You Were Born Rich. We're almost to the end of this book again, and this one is The Razor's Edge. It's so good because, you know, so many times we do things and do things and do things, and right before the universe is going to just give it to us, we stop. And Napoleon Hill talks about this in Think and Grow Rich. He has a story called 3 Feet from Gold. And this man went all in on finding gold. And he started off really great, and then it dried up. Oh, we'll put it in the quotes, dried up. And he sold his all his stuff to a junk man and left. And what happened was the junk man was incredibly intelligent and he found somebody who understood plate tectonics. And he said, and fault lines. And so he said, where can I dig to find the gold? And he said, well, you can't dig here. It's a fault line. You got to go this way. Turns out it was 3 feet away and all the gold was sitting right there. So this razor's edge idea is really based upon that concept of, all right, I still have my goal and I haven't quite reached it yet. And you get to that exhaustion point and then you have to push just one step little further, right? And that's kind of what he's talking about here. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to do the mastermind principles. Hi, Sarah Walters. Welcome, welcome. It's ladies' night. Yahoo! Okay, so let's see. Sarah Fernandez, do you want to start us off?
I will. Mastermind principles. I begin every mastermind meeting by reading these mastermind principles. I release myself to the mastermind because I am strong when I have others to help me. Robin.
I believe. I believe the combined intelligence of the mastermind creates a wisdom far beyond my own. Sophie,
I understand that I will more easily create positive results in my life when I am open to looking at myself, my problems, and opportunities from another's point of view. Sarah Walters.
You're mute. Oh, are you trying to unmute? Okay. Here, I'll ask you to unmute and see if that helps. No? You can do it. No? Not even at the bottom somewhere? At the top, maybe. No. Okay. How about Pat? And then Sarah can figure it out.
Okay. I decide to release my desire totally in trust of the mastermind, and I am open to accepting new possibilities. Mary.
I forgive. I forgive myself for mistakes I have made. I also forgive others who have hurt me in the past so I can move into the future with a clean slate. Sharon.
I ask, I ask the mastermind to hear what I really want, my goals, my dreams, and my desires. And I hear my mastermind partners supporting me in my fulfillment.
All right. Do you want to pick somebody?
Uh, Sarah, please.
Let's see, Sarah Walters, did you get yours yet? No, Sarah Fernandez. How about you go?
I accept. I know, relax, and accept, believing that the working power of the mastermind will respond to my every need. I am grateful knowing this is so. Robin.
dedication and covenant. I now have a covenant in which it is agreed that the mastermind shall supply me with an abundance of all things necessary to live a success-filled and happy life. I dedicate myself to be of maximum service to God and to my fellow human beings, to live in a manner that will set me the highest example for others to follow, and to remain an open channel of God's will. I go forth with a spirit of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy.
Fabulous. Thank you, ladies. Ooh, this is fun. Sarah, I wonder if you can do it now that we're here. No? Without sharing the screen. That's so strange. Even if you hover over your picture with your mouse? No? Okay. All right, I'll stop. All right. So, ladies, this is so good. The Razor's Edge. One of my friends doesn't like the name of this chapter because it brings up ideas of sharp objects, and she doesn't like that concept. But the fact of the matter is he says you are only 1 inch, one step, one idea away from turning onto the boulevard of beauty in your own life. And what this really needs to speak to us in the way that we can understand is that we have genius locked up inside of us. We have to know that because that is what will keep us going through the hard times and give us that one little extra push to make us cross over onto the boulevard of success. We have to know that it's there, not it might be. It is. The possibility, the probability, the thing is just on the other side. We have to get out of the way. He says he's talking about winning in a big way in all areas of your life. So this is applying the belief, the thinking, to make it happen. In Thinking into Results, Sandy Gallagher says, and I tried to say this last time, I think, but what she talks about is feed your mind what it needs to produce the outcomes that you truly desire. And that is changing our beliefs to reflect the laws of nature, to understand that this is a mental universe, to understand that as within, so without. The way that we see on the inside is what we see reflected on the outside. So if we believe that it's going to be hard and we believe that it's possible that we could fail, then that becomes a possibility for us. And so what this razor's edge isn't just physical. It's a mental razor's edge, really pushing past it. Does anybody have any thoughts so far? We haven't even read anything, but yeah, but does anybody have any thoughts to begin us off?
I think the razor's edge to me is like in a split second, you change your life because of one thought.
Ooh, talk more about that.
Well, we could be going along and all of a sudden someone will say something and it just clicks that it fits in our life or what we're wanting to do with our life. And everything starts falling into place because we were open to that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were willing to do what it took.
Right. Well, and that insinuates that we need to have somewhere that we are planning on going, right? On a goal or a desire that we're looking to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Sarah and I talk a lot. Sarah Fernandez and I talk a lot, and she knows what things that I'm cooking up in my mind all the time. But she just mentioned one thing, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's it!" Right? And she probably didn't think that this is going to be Mary's end all be all, but I was like, "This is it. This is the missing link I've been looking for." But you won't notice it unless you've been looking for it, right, Pat?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anybody else have any comments before we keep going? I'd love to hear them. So would all the men that are watching the replay. Ha ha ha. Let's educate those gentlemen. Go ahead, Robin. Oh, you're muted. The mute button today, ladies. The mute button.
The mute button. Oh my goodness. But I mean, it reminds me of athletes. In the example, they talk about, 100-meter runners. And I used to, as you say, try to participate in the 100 meters. And the, how do you say, the difference between first and second sometimes is a tenth of a point, a tenth of a second. So it's so close. And so you're doing the same things, you're working out the same time, you're putting in the same amount of effort, and it really, first and second is really tenths of a second. And sometimes you can even be tie, but they choose a first place winner. But in other words, you are you're practicing preparing the same way. And like you say, don't give up. Keep going, keep pushing yourself. But sometimes we give, like you say, we give up too soon because we're like, oh, I can't, I can't do this. It seems too insurmountable, but it never is. And then, like, I think about, I guess when we got to the 4 minute mile and people, they didn't think that that was able to be done to
Yeah,
run
they
a
thought our
mile.
hearts were going to explode.
Isn't that funny? Yeah. And now it's like, 4 minute mile is a slow mile
Yeah.
now.
Not for
But
me.
well, I mean, not for us, most of us, but for those that are running in that class,
Mhm.
they are whipping, they are running a
Yeah.
quarter mile like it's a sprint. And so, but it just shows you how close you are to really winning, but you've stopped yourself because of your own mindset. But you really are closer than you think.
Yeah.
And I think that we do that in so many areas of life. So many areas of life.
So many areas. I
Oh,
agree. I
Mhm.
agree. Go ahead,
Mhm.
Sarah Fernandez. Hi, Sarah Walters again.
Hi.
Um, yeah, I like when they we say, and I hear it a lot, that you only fail when you give up or when you don't try, because every time you try and you don't hit it, but you learn from it and you are a little closer and you have information that's going to inform the next steps you're going to take. So it's never really a failure. At least that's how I see it. And but when you do decide to not go, to not do it, to that is just sad.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we keep learning that we have so much potential and that the limitations we have are those that we impose on ourselves. And it is true. I know a young guy. He had an accident and he was paraplegic. He still is. But he said, he wanted to keep playing basket with his friends, and he does. I mean, he has so much. Nothing stops him. And sometimes, I just think, wow, yes, let's do this. So when somebody says, "Oh, I'm in a wheelchair, I can't do this," well, maybe it's your mindset. Maybe it's you're stopping yourself because, yes, you're not going to be standing up and doing it, but you can do it. You can do it your own way. And I think that's very powerful. And sometimes we just don't realize how powerful that can be.
Yeah. Bob Proctor uses an example in Thinking into Results. I think it's in lesson one where he talks about meeting an Olympic athlete and he goes, "Finally, somebody told me what I did to win." And Bob says, "What lesson two? Is that what you're saying?" Yeah. I think so too. And Bob said, "Well, what did you do?" And he says, "Well, I won the gold medal in the Olympics in the decathlon back in 1957." His name was Milt Campbell. And he said, "You know what? There were other people who were way stronger than me, way faster than me, way, better at a lot of things than me. But you know what? I got silver and then I came back and I said, you know what? I'm coming home and I'm going to spend 4 years focused on getting gold." And he says, "I just didn't stop. Everybody else quit. And I just kept going. And that's how I won gold." It's the knowing doing gap, right? It's moving through that. It would be so much easier to quit right now. I've been there. I had been there in gymnastics. I've been there in business. I've been there in all sorts of things. Writing books. Hello, you just get it's annoying sometimes, but that's the work, and that's actually moving us forward is mental work more than anything. Because like Sarah said, yeah, our physical bodies might be in a different place or a different feeling, but it's our minds and our mindset that either keeps us going or stops us from continuing. Go ahead, Pat.
is that the place there somewhere in the chapter that said that how do you do it? He said he rehearse, rehearse, rehearse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you're thinking it in your mind, you're rehearsing that you've already got it.
Right. And it gets harder to quit that way, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the surgeon. Thank goodness he rehearsed a lot because that's an
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
job. That's an important one. But I want to just read here on page 154. He says, now you may have grown up with the idea that some people have it and some people don't. Or because some people are much better than others, they enjoy much more of the abundance of life. But I want you to understand right here and right now, this idea is absolutely false. For you are every bit as good or as powerful as anyone you see, know, or even hear about. Remember, since the difference between them and you is only in the area of accomplishments, and since there is something you can do that will vastly improve the results you are achieving presently, you have the potential to become even more successful than they are. You may already know how to do what others are doing, and if you don't, you can learn. And since your potential power is unlimited, you can do even greater things than they are now doing. So, the first question I have for everyone is, do you believe that your potential is unlimited? Hmm. I've got one thought, one going, yep. Sarah Walters going, yeah. So, Pat, tell us, why is your potential unlimited?
Because we're always growing. And I think as long as we're learning, we're growing, becoming more aware, we have more to offer other people. I don't ever want to stop learning.
Yeah.
And I think we underestimate ourselves sometimes of what we already know that we have to
Mm.
offer.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Sarah Walters, does that change your mind? Well,
It
did you
does.
say yeah?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see where I was like, you know, a year ago, and just like Pat said, just learning and growing. I'm
Mm.
getting better and better at what I do and a
Yeah.
little more confident.
Mhm.
Yeah. And part of getting better at what we do is doing what we love, because then we'll want to keep doing it. Right? Yeah. So find what you love. Listen to those desires. That's what we're meant to do. Those desires from within, a spirit going, hey, Mary, this is you. Do it, do it, do it. Let's go, let's go. Right? And they're unique to each one of us, those desires. It's spirit expressing itself through you, and it's unique and it's so cool. And I love that idea. And the next thing I want us to see on page 155, right at the top, he says that something that you must do to become more successful may not be what you think it is. But whatever it may be, rest assured you are quite capable of doing it. Always bear in mind, however, that because each person's world is just a little bit different, the something which you must do is not necessarily the same something the person you live with or work with must do. Nevertheless, there is no question that you will eventually find out what it is that you must do. So make up your mind immediately. When you do figure out what the razor's edge is for you, you will do it. And this is why so many systems, like, this is the way I did it, this is the way I earned $1 million. If you just follow this program, you'll earn $1 million too. Nope. You know why? Because when you're just following somebody else's exact program without recognizing your individual uniqueness, you are not honoring that and you're not listening to the inside. So, what you need to do is find something like a program that helps you find out your uniqueness and then apply that to what you're doing and do you, right? You do you. And that's what's so good about this world, is that when each one of us really focuses in on who we truly are and what we truly want, then we all thrive and we all are, well, it's a happier place for one, and we thrive. We really become these happy, wonderful people that can actually help one another. But if we're just sitting there going, you know what, your system doesn't work, I don't know what you're doing, that doesn't help. What do you think? Does anybody have any experience of doing things that somebody else did and it didn't work for you?
Weight loss.
Ah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Me too. Right? How many diets are out there? Like a million? Yeah, I probably tried all of them.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also think about sometimes we hear, almost like trying to live somebody else's path or plan because oh well that's what everyone else did. But
Hmm.
how do you say the societal norms are sort of made where we how do you say feel pressured to be a certain thing a certain way, look a certain way, act a certain way, dress a certain way, talk a certain way, and that may not be the place or plan that you're supposed to be. But like you say, we don't become happy or self-fulfilled until you spend time with yourself and realize, oh, I don't have to be that, I don't have to do it like that way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's yeah.
There's so much power in being comfortable with yourself
You
Mhm.
and
have to
learning who.
personalize it.
Say that again, Pat.
You have to personalize it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And only you can do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So true. So true. Well, Vince Lombardi said he talked about the second effort concept. This is on page 157. In a nutshell, the second effort concept simply meant that when a player was initially stopped by the opposing team, he would always surge forward a second time with the added thrust of a second effort. So, what this tells me is that when you see an obstacle come up in the outside world, you can say, you know what, you're not stopping me, and you just move past it. And either you go over it or around it or through it or just obliterate it. But these outside obstacles, not Thomas Troward, Wallace D. Waddell said that these obstacles are here to prove who we're becoming. Isn't that beautiful? They show us who are we standing up to this thing. Are we being our little self? Or are we being our big self? Are we being the one who has all the potential, or are we cowering to the obstacle? Right? Um, there are so, well, we just came off the Olympics, right? So many athletes could feel that when somebody else was beating them or did beat them, they felt like a failure. Oh, no, you're at the Olympics. You're way better than the entire world at whatever it is that you're doing. And I know this gold medal is coveted by all of them, but at the same time, well, come back next year. Do the do the Milt Campbell thing. But when we see this outside obstacle that's stopping us, we're allowing it to stop us, right? So, like for me in gymnastics, maybe an injury would slow me down, but that didn't stop me from continuing after being off for a while. My dad he had a liver transplant, and then 9 years later he had a kidney transplant. And those 9 years, in between those 9 years, he learned how to fly an airplane. He didn't let those things stop him, right? And that's what we're talking about here. Don't allow outside circumstances stop you from living the life that you truly desire. Yeah. So how do we get past that? How do we push through those? Who has the golden nugget of the day? How do you push through when when you see obstacles going, holy buckets, what do I do now? Hmm. Anybody have any thoughts?
Pray for insight.
Yeah. Listen to that intuition, right? Go ahead, Sarah.
Stay the course, you
Take a
know?
course.
Stay the
Oh,
course.
stay the course. I'm like, which course are we taking?
It doesn't matter as long as you keep moving and you don't let that stop you. As long as you create your habits, as long as you stick with them, as long as because if you're not going the right way, well, you're going to find out pretty soon you should pivot or something. So the thing is, don't stop because you know what they say, what he said. It's easier to move to turn a moving car than a parked one.
Hmm.
So
That's
so you
right.
just keep moving. Yeah, it doesn't really matter if you are really in front of an obstacle. It really doesn't matter which way you go or what you do. It just matters that you don't let it stop you.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes the magic is in the pivot, and you
Mhm.
wouldn't have seen that pivot or that opportunity had the obstacle not shown up, right? I had a little girl, gymnast, and then Sarah Walters can go. I had a little gymnast who actually my gym rats books are dedicated to her, and her name is Morgan, and she broke her arm or her wrist. Um, in the middle of the gymnastics season, and she did beam with a cast on and didn't do, she couldn't compete with it on, but she still practiced with it. And in her routine was a cartwheel. And she learned how to do a one-arm cartwheel with her cast on. And so she continuously did her routine over and over and over again. The very first meet back after she broke her arm, she got a 9.65, which blew away the competition at that point in time because she used her broken arm to propel her into this beam queen status. And she really made it happen. She was only 10 for Pete's sake. So we can do this. We can do this. Make that obstacle your springboard, right? To use another analogy from gymnastics. Go ahead, Sarah Walters.
One thing that I say to myself, like if I start getting negative thoughts or if something comes up, I just say I'm moving towards it as it's moving towards me. So as long as I'm keep moving that way, it's gonna come to me. Just yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that's understanding the law of attraction and vibration. Because if you stay in that vibration of the thing that you truly want, it must come to you. You're magnetizing yourself to it, and it is magnetized to you. The where the stickiness gets is going, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And looking around for it and figuring out that it's not coming. Where is it? It's not here yet. And we don't remember that there's another law, the law of gender, and that takes a little bit of time, right? It's kind of the most annoying of the laws sometimes because it takes time, and that's okay. We just have to know that it takes the time that we need to grow to that version of us who has the thing that we want. Hmm, right? Yeah. I like that. But remember, it's just around the corner. It's right around the corner. It's right around the corner. And what you're doing when you say that is attracting those last little bits of things that you need to get done in order to make it happen, right? Tying up those loose ends, as my mother would say. She she's so funny. Anyway, I won't go into that one. But page 161, he says, I told them this is that car shop that they just weren't doing all that well in their business and they were almost ready to shut the doors and Bob came in and said, I want you to visualize your shop full of cars which needed to be repaired. Moreover, that every time you visualize yourself doing the work on the car, also visualize yourself vacuuming the inside, washing the outside, and making sure the windows were spotless. And as they did that, because what customers see is the clean car, and the mechanic sees the clean car under the hood, right? But what Bob said is He said, visualize yourself providing more service. And so what did they do? They provided more service. And so all of a sudden, they were compensated for providing more service.
Mhm.
And then they had so much more service coming, customers coming in that they could serve. So one of the things that you need to ask yourself is what are some little things that I can do in my life to just add that little bit more, whether it's in your personal life, in your relationships, or in your business with your clients or your employees, whatever it might be. What's that little razor's edge difference that I can provide more service or more kindness or more love or more giving in this relationship, whether it's a family relationship, whether it is a business relationship, it doesn't matter. The feeling of increase, the impression of increase that Wallace D. Wattles talks about is for everybody. So we can always look in our lives and see, ooh, where can I give just a little bit more? Because it's in the giving that we receive, right? It's not that these people in the car shop charged more. They didn't. It's not that their advertising campaign was any better. It wasn't. They just did it in the spirit of giving and going above and beyond, right? Going the extra mile, as Napoleon Hill would say. Let's see. Hmm. Anything else that anybody wants to talk about in this chapter? Anything jump out at you? Go ahead,
I think
Sophie.
we
So he's got on page 170, he's talking about an insurance company and he's um, going on about people earning loads more money than the rest. And he says, do you think these individuals were really 30 or 40 times better than their colleagues? Of course not. For like the racehorses arm, they were probably only 3 or 4% more effective. So it doesn't take that much to get to where you want to be. But like you say, you just got to stick it out and know that you're going to get there.
Yeah. Doesn't that feel good to know that these people aren't that much better than us?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's remarkable because
Yeah.
he uses that example with the racehorse armed, and he says that the horse that came in second place was always in second place, but in the disparity in the earnings was huge, but the time was minuscule. It was so it's tiny. And so that means that the razor's edge difference for so many people is right here in the mind, right? And that's why I love watching golf because it's a 4 day event and it's grueling. I don't watch all 4 days, believe me. I'm not sitting there glued up to the TV, but I watch on Sunday because that is when either the people fall apart because they mentally fall apart or they're pushing ahead and they're doing this. And that's what I like to see. I'm like, ooh, who's doing it this week, right? Because it's hard. It really is. And the Olympics were hard too. It 2 weeks of being on all the time is huge. And that is all mental. It's all mental. So this razor's edge difference, yes, there is this maybe a physical push or a physical thing that you must do, but really it starts in the mind first, doesn't it? Yeah. We have to decide, right, Sarah? Decide where we're going. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yes, absolutely. Um, it's like the 2%, like if you just change 2%, like if you steer a boat 2%, you're going to end up in a place completely different than where you thought you were going to end up. And it's only 2%, it's almost nothing. And so, yeah, it makes a whole difference. And I sometimes think of that in our own lives. That's exactly it. Um, that's going to make the difference. Uh, yeah, that's just that just came to me when
Just Just that little bit. Just that
It's
little
just a
bit
little tiny bit, but there you go.
makes all the difference in the whole wide world. So the end of this chapter, he says, now stop reading, sit back and relax and think. Really think. What is it in your life that will make the razor's edge difference for you? You know what it is? Good. Then go and do it. So he's telling us to think. He's telling us to really examine what we're doing and how we're doing it. And then he's saying, identify the thing that's going to help and then apply it, do it, go do, right? And that's kind of what Pat was talking about when you say ask for guidance, right? Pray for guidance. And so that when we sit there and think over about what we're doing, that's what we're doing. We're thinking, ooh, how can I make this better? How can I make this better? We're asking for guidance. Now, the idea is we have to listen for the answer and then heed the answer. Do what it says, do what Spirit tells us to do, right? Because it knows, because it's already there. It has everything. God has everything. God says, yes, go do. All right, ladies, I think this was a wonderful, wonderful time with the girls. So, hey, let's take a picture. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, perfect. Next week is chapter 9, our penultimate chapter already, and that is Don't Think in Reverse.
Yeah.
That is a good one. Quit thinking
Yep.
about the past and digging it up, right? Okay. I hope you all have such a wonderful, wonderful day and week ahead. Oh, don't forget, Economy Creators Workshop starts today at 3 p.m. No, 4 p.m. No, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. So I hope to see you there. It's different than past ones because it's only 3 days and it's a little bit more refined. So I'm excited about it. So I will see you soon and have a great day. If you need me, reach out. Okay.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Bye.
One.